Hey YouTube. Well, I'm on my way home, going west, as you can probably notice. But already here before the sun is coming into the picture, you can see this reddish hue stretching to the left, meaning towards south. And there's this reddish hue around it up here in the top, and of course it extends out in this angle. I am not saying it is what I'm trying to say here. I'm just playing with the thought, if we have an incoming and it's behind the sun, and we're talking about this 40 million wide debris field, it's dragging this wing disk. Now take a look when I come up here on the top of the hill. This is on 380 west. And as you can see, there's a giant hue around the sun. It is amazing. And look how big the sun is in itself. It's not like that with my naked eye, but it appears like that in the camera. But if you look at this all the way around, now imagine there was, or there is, a wing disk, as it is called, behind the sun. Then it would make sense we are seeing this reddish hue because the sun is not deeper on the horizon to create a red sky yet. The sun is still yellow, it's not reddish, and it's still high enough over the horizon. It's actually just above the horizon, the entire disk. So it don't make sense to me what we are looking at here as a normal sunset. I know there's a lot of reflective material in the atmosphere, but yet it does look a little strange. And look at this immense glow behind or around the sun itself. It's just staggering to look at. And it's even with the naked eye I can see this. Here you see the disk itself right there, because the light is not so bright. That's actually the size of it, and you can see the whole disk is actually above the horizon. And you see it again here, where the light is being blocked a little. You can still see it. As soon as we get in where the sun is coming into a full, and there's nothing blocking the light, look at this hue, this exacerbating glow around it. And I just don't know, it's quite insane to look at. And I'm not saying it is, but if it is, it makes perfect sense to why it looks like this. Absolutely. In my book it does. It does make sense. So, I don't know. I just decided to do a recording, and I didn't put it up in my holder because I didn't mount it today. But I decided to handheld my iPhone and just shoot away. And now here again the sun is being buried behind the trees here in a moment. Meaning we're not getting that much light inside into the camera. And actually right there, the sun is no longer in view, but look at the hue around it. Look at those three circular shapes. White, yellow and red. It's just astounding to look at. It is crazy to look at. And that's a bug splat out there. Freaking got that on the way home. Well, springtime is coming, so they are coming out. It's been nice and warm today. 66 degrees, my thermometer said. So, it's nice. It's nice to be out and not having to put on the warm clothing. And still here, when the sun is almost buried, you still see this reddish all the way over. And again, if we're talking about this 40 million mile wide debris field, it is dragging with it. If we're playing with that thought, it makes sense to why it looks like it does. Absolutely. To me it does. That doesn't mean that I'm saying that it is. what I'm kind of saying. But it is interesting to see, especially on a clear day like this. Today I haven't seen one single chemtrail airplane. Not one. So there is nothing that obscure the view of the sun in this case. Not at all. It is a beautiful day. It's been a beautiful day all day long. I woke up at 4 o'clock, went to work at 4:45. The moon was up. It was crystal clear. It's been crystal clear all day. And yet, even though the sun is gone here, you can't see it. There's no light coming towards me directly from the sun, and you just see this reddish hue all around, like a winged disc. And up here we got a contrail airplane. You see it right down. Right down. Well, that's quite amazing. It is quite amazing to look at. Well, it is what it is. I do believe we have an incoming. Too much in history is pointing in that direction. And there was someone here the other day who said that this Nibiru wouldn't be around for the next 1600 years, but reality is this, that the orbit around our sun and in through our solar system is not 3600 years, people. You're talking about a cycle of 360 years, approximately, where it shows itself. And if you go look at Planet 7X's timeline of significant happenings on the world scene, well, ever since the days of the flood, days of Noah, and all the way up through history, there are pointers that points towards that something is occurring repeatedly, approximately 360 years apart. So it more or less tells me that there is something to it, that it is not just a fairy tale, that we have a little marker coming in and tapping us on the shoulder, kind of like to try to wake us up from our slumber, because people are fast asleep it's called, that's for sure. There are some who is awake. There are some that have an open mind, that it could actually be real. And I'm one of those that believes that this is real, because there's too much that points towards that something is occurring in our skies and also on Earth, of course. We are being heavily influenced, and bad things happen in the procession of this object coming in. But I'm not saying again in this video that it is what I'm saying, that we have this debris field and this reddish hue around the sun. And again, the video will run its course naturally, and it will repeat itself. I put it on that so we can have another little look at it from the beginning, where you can see it very clearly. It's quite astounding, if you ask me, how it looks. Absolutely. You see the reddishness. You see this golden glow in a large perimeter around where the sun is actually positioned. And that, I believe, is due to chemtrails. And we see it again coming up. You see the reddishness. And when the sun comes into the picture, everything changes. Everything looks so unnatural. It don't look as it's supposed to look like. I am almost 48 years old, and in all my life, before they started spraying, I have never seen anything quite like this. Not even close. Not even close. So if we have a winged disk which is coming in from behind the sun towards us, as I have said, the Nibiru is perihelion. It is no longer perihelion to the sun. It might just be on its way towards us. And if that is the case, when it passes through and pass in over Earth's orbit, we will be struck by a swarm of debris, or maybe a large chunk, like this guy from Puerto Rico is talking about. He had a conversation with someone that there will be an impact the Atlantic Ocean. Who knows? Well, let's just keep it up, in thought. And 150 days later, approximately, we will hit the remnant of this tail this object is dragging with it. And not only we will be pelted, or maybe we will have the big impact there, or we might have where an angel took a censer from the altar and cast it down to earth, and all the trees were, or all the grass was burned up, and 1/3 of the trees were burned. That could be a meteor shower that is the cause of that. And then we will have a large impact, a singular impact, and that's a possibility, absolutely. But there's more to it. When it passes through and on its way out, after it passes Earth's orbit, it is when it passes us, that is the one that's going to hurt the most, because it's kind of like an elastic band. It's pulling in us, and the elastic band is being stretched, and at some point in time it doesn't any longer have magnetic polarity, or more powerful than the sun, and the sun grabs Earth again, and it's this little tug of war that's gonna hurt bad. I mean bad. How bad, I don't know. According to the Hopi prophecy, if it's coming from the west, it is not a good thing. If it's coming from the east, the blow will be lessened. But if it's coming from the west, we're gonna get hurt, and we're gonna get hurt bad, people, very bad. And there is a lot that points toward it's gonna come from the west. The revelation is definitely not putting any fingers in between that. It's not gonna be pretty, not at all. So what are we looking at? Maybe we are looking at the glow of the winged disk behind the sun coming towards us right now. God bless you.